My sister said I ruined her one-of-a-kind experience. That being said, I couldn't say how mad she was. I'm currently stuck in a situation that can't be fixed. My family is big and close, and we've all lived in the same small town for many generations, along with Renee, 28F. We're not very religious, but we do have some traditions that everyone really values. One of them is the summer cookout we have every year at my folks' house. Everyone shows up, from second cousins to great aunts, and we talk and catch up all day. It is very important. Playing computer games and eating too much? Our family gatherings weren't always so peaceful. Just so you remember. When I was a kid, these kinds of things happened all the time. An old property disagreement between my mom's side of the family and my dad's side of the family caused them to fight for a long time, even before I was born. One time, things got so bad that each side of the family had its own get-together. Things didn't start to change for me and my sister Samantha, 32F, until we were teenagers. We talked our parents into having a dinner for all of us because we were tired of the fights. Even though it was awkward at first, it ended up being a sign of our family's healing. These get-togethers are now very important to all of us because they represent the peace we worked so hard to build. Samantha has always been the calm voice in our family. She was the one who could calm everyone down and make them laugh again, even when they were kids. I have always liked that she is naturally good at being polite, even though it did get to me sometimes. Samantha has a lot of ease and tact, while I'm more direct, and let's be honest, maybe a bit too direct. That party last weekend was the start of all the trouble. Samantha and her 34-year-old husband Billy have been trying to have a child for a few years now. They have been very open about their inability to have children, and their whole family has been there for them. Samantha told me at first that they were trying, and I remember that moment. It was one of our sister nights, which we started in college as a way to get together once a month and drink wine and talk about everything and nothing. That made her so happy that she started to think about names and how to decorate the room. I was happy for her, but I couldn't help but feel a little jealous. Samantha's plans all along were to go to college, get a job, get married, and have kids. During that time, I was still working things out by switching jobs and relationships. My friend Samantha's happiness changed from joy to worry, and then to sadness as the months turned into years without a baby. A lot of her family events became harder for her to go to after our cousins had their own kids. It was hard for me to be positive, because I often felt like I was saying the wrong things. I once suggested that they think about adopting Samantha. For a week, she wouldn't talk to me. I learned how to just listen and hug people when they need it. Billy has been there for her through everything. As most high school sweethearts do, they've been together since high school. When I was a teenager, I remember being jealous of their love while I was dealing with my own difficult high school relationships. But Billy has become the brother I never had for me as time has gone on. He has always been there for Samantha and our whole family. I was thrilled when Samantha and Billy showed up at the BBQ. They looked happier than they had in months. They didn't say anything about why they pretty much shone. I didn't think much about it because I thought they were just happy. I only wanted my sister to be happy again. That day, everything was going well. They had a great meal, the weather was great, and Dad finally got the recipe for his special barbecue sauce right. And there was peace between everyone. It was like the good old days, before Samantha and Billy's stress over trying to have a child had caused them so much trouble. Later that day, I talked to my cousin Liz, who is 30 years old, about her recent trip to Japan. Liz and I are only 2 years apart, so we've always been close. As kids, we spent most of our summers together. While she was looking through her phone, we came across a picture of a cat cafe. Liz made a joke when I told her I'd always wanted to go there. Maybe you should open one here. You already have that crazy Catwoman thing going on. It became a running joke in our family. In the past few years, I've taken in 3 cats, which makes my mom sad. Instead of getting more pets, she kept making it sound like it was time for me to settle down and start a family. Even though I usually didn't pay attention to these comments, they did hurt a little. Liz's joke still made me laugh, though. I laughed and told her, hey, at least I'm not hiding kittens under my shirt like Samantha is. As soon as I said those words, I knew something wasn't right. The room around us was very quiet, which was disturbing. I raised my head and saw Samantha looking at me with a blank look on her face. Billy looked like he was trying to fit in with her by putting his arm around her shoulders. The silence was broken by my mom. Do you have anything you'd like to tell us, Samantha? Samantha couldn't hold back her tears and ran out of the garden. Before following her, Billy gave me a look that could have melted steel. The whole family was in a lot of trouble. Some were excited, some were confused, and still others were angry. Basically aimed at me. As it turns out, Samantha and Billy just found out that they are expecting twins. It was planned that they would make the news with a cute reveal at the end of the BBQ. Their secret plan had been kept a secret for weeks because of my casual statement. I was unhappy. I tried to make it clear that I was just making a joke about Samantha's happy look, and didn't know she was actually pregnant. But the damage was already done. It was strange and uncomfortable for the rest of the BBQ after Samantha and Billy left early. It looked like we went back to the days of arguing with each other at family gatherings. Since then, angry calls and texts from family members have been coming in. They say I'm rude and uncaring, that I should have known better, and that I ruined Samuel and Billy's special moment. Samantha won't answer my calls or texts, and my parents are mad at me. I really didn't mean to give anything away. It was just a chance that my joke turned out to be true. But now I'm not sure if I really did make a mistake. Should I have been more careful with what I said? Is it my fault that I told everyone my sister is pregnant by accident? Because of everything going on, old fears are coming back to the surface. Since Samantha is so perfect, I've always thought my family messed up. Now it looks like I've proven everyone wrong. For the first time in a long time, my sister is finally pregnant, which makes me happy because I love her. The only thing I want is to go back to that dinner and not say a word. New information: things have only gotten worse since the cookout episode about a week ago. Samantha and I have been trying to talk, but she hasn't called or texted me back. Billy took my call for the first time yesterday, but it wasn't a good one. He told me Samantha can't take it anymore. I did not know that they had 3 losses in the last 2 years. They planned to celebrate their pregnancy at the BBQ after all the hard times they had been through, but they were keeping it a secret until they felt safer. Billy said that my stupid joke had taken away their chance to control the story and enjoy the moment the way they saw fit. I was shocked when I heard about the losses. Samantha and I have always been close. We talk about everything, from girls to work stress. It hurt a lot that she saved this for me. I couldn't help but think about what else I might not know about my sister's life. When I tried to say sorry again and make it clear that I didn't know about their past or the pregnancy, Billy wouldn't listen. He told me that this was another example of how I didn't care about other people's feelings and that I was always trying to be the center of attention. That hurt because it's not true at all. I've always tried to be there for Samantha and Billy. His words made us think of our childhood. Sam was 16 years old at one point, and I was about 12. She had just won a big school debate competition, and her family was having dinner together to celebrate. I remember being mad that no one was paying attention to me and feeling left out. Then I made up a lie and said that I was going to be the lead in the school play. Everyone was upset when the lie came out, but the attention turned to me. Even though Samantha understood, it was clear that trying to take her time had made her feel bad. I thought that my need for recognition had gone away on its own, but Billy's charge made me think about whether my view of myself had changed. As our conversation ended, Billy told me to give them space and not to contact them again until they did. I don't feel good about anything about it. But I'm also getting a little anxious. How was I going to learn about something they were trying to keep secret anyway? The problem is getting worse because of the growing rift in the family. Samantha has the backing of most of our aunts and cousins, but my brother Matt, 26M, and a few others think everything is being blown out of proportion. There is so much side-taking and whispering going on that it makes every family meeting very tense. Matt has always stood by me when things go wrong with my family. He is the youngest. We got along because we both thought Samantha's successes were bigger than ours. His call the other day was to check on me, and we talked for hours about what was going on. He thinks Samantha and Billy are lying, but he can understand how upset they are. It made me feel better to know that at least one family member doesn't think I'm a complete monster. I chose to talk about it with my parents in the hopes that they could help me figure it out. That was a huge failure. Mom started to cry and say she didn't know how to help her daughters get along because she felt stuck in the middle. Dad just told me he was disappointed because he had hoped for a lot more from me. The great distress of my parents made me think of the fights we had as a family in the past. I remember how stressed out and sad they were during those years, trying all the time to keep the peace between the two families. I had promised myself that I would never cause such trouble in the family, but here I was, in the middle of another family drama. I'm starting to feel really alone. Only my best friend Tara, 29F, seems to understand me. We've been friends since college, and she's been there for many of my family's stressful times. Because Samantha won't answer my calls, she told me to write her a letter explaining what was going on. Even though I'm thinking about it, I'm afraid it will make things worse. Tara also said something I hadn't thought of. She made me think of how competitive Samantha and I used to be. We were always trying to do better than each other, whether it was in school, sports, or trying to get our parents' attention. Tara thought about whether this situation might be caused by an old feud, making it harder for Samantha to miss what was a mistake that didn't hurt anyone. Tara's words have been on my mind a lot. It's true that things have never been easy between me and Samantha. There has always been a bit of competition between us, even though we love each other very much. I thought that as adults we were past that, but it's possible that those old kinds of relationships are still affecting us. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. For the first time in a long time, my sister is finally pregnant, which makes me happy because I love her. The only thing I want is to go back to that dinner and not say a word. Am I wrong in thinking that this answer seems a bit too much? Should I keep saying sorry, or should I do what Billy said and give them all some space? This is tearing our family apart, and I don't know how to stop it. 2. I'm not sure how to feel about the sudden change in the course of events. It's been about 3 days since my cousin Liz called. She was talking very softly and sounded very scared. The woman told me she had an important message to share. I did, however, have to swear not to tell anyone else in the family. I mostly agreed because I was curious about what was bothering Liz so much. What she told me shocked me. It looks like Samantha and Liz met at the store the night before the cooking party. When Samantha bought a pregnancy test, it was clear that she was scared. So she could be useful. Liz offered to stay with her while she took the test. They went back to Liz's apartment after Samantha gave her the all clear. Samantha began to cry when the test result was positive. For months, she and Billy had given up on having a child, she told Liz. They had even started to think about adopting a child. Sam was shocked when the test came back positive because she said that the worry of Billy's infertility had kept them from having a sexual relationship for weeks. Liz said she wasn't sure how to handle this information, especially after what happened at the party. That was wrong of her to keep it a secret, but she also didn't think she should talk about it. The only reason she told me was because she thought I deserved to know the whole story after all the abuse I was getting from my family. I was shocked. Liz said that my comment about the barbecue had not only kept a planned statement from falling through, but it had also forced Samantha to say something she might not have been ready for. As my mind began to process this knowledge, memories of our childhood began to come back to me. When Samantha and I were teenagers, she told me that she had slipped away to meet a boy our parents didn't like. Even when my parents put limits on me, I kept her secret because I thought it would keep her safe. Samantha finally opened up after some time. Nevertheless, it had taken her several days to find the courage. This looked awfully familiar. Once more, I knew something that would help me clear my name, but it would cost Samantha a lot. It hit me like a ton of bricks when I realized this. Now that I knew this, I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to tell everyone and clear my name, even though I knew it would only make things worse and make Samantha even more upset. I was interested in how this would impact Samantha and Billy's relationship. The next day, I couldn't stop thinking about what Liz had said. I thought of all the times Samantha had helped me. Like when I dropped out of college because I was too embarrassed to tell our parents about my first choice of major. Samantha spent hours with me and helped me come up with a new plan. She was also there for me when I finally told my parents. It looked like Samantha might need my help with that now. And even though I was hurt and angry, I knew I had to help my sister. I gave it some thought for a day before I reached out to Samantha again. I texted her to let her know I was ready to listen to her without judging her, and that I thought there was more to the story than what everyone had heard. She shocked me by answering almost right away and wanting to come over. This is being written just before Samantha gets here. I'm scared of what she might say and how this conversation could change things. What do I do? Should I just listen to what she has to say, or should I tell her I heard what she said to Liz? A simple misunderstanding at a family get-together has turned into something much worse. I still feel bad about what I did and am scared for my sister. I don't know what to do. Please help me figure out how to have this conversation with Samantha. The third update, to use a mild phrase, the conversation with Samantha was tense. She looked tired and about to cry when she got to my house. As soon as I shut the door behind her, she started to cry. Through tears, Samantha confirmed everything Liz had told me. She and Billy had really given up on having a child, so she was shocked when she found out she was going to be a mom. But the story wasn't over yet. Samantha admitted that she worked with someone else and had an affair for a short time about 2 months ago. It was an isolated event that happened after a very upsetting visit to the doctor, where they were told that they had a very small chance of getting pregnant. She made a mistake because she was upset. She quickly felt bad about what she did and stopped talking to her friend outside of work. As she was telling me this, I couldn't help but think of a similar event from our past. Samantha cheated on her boyfriend when things were rough in their relationship. She was in college at the time. When she first came to me, I helped her get over her thoughts of guilt and tears. It was one of the few times in our lives when I felt like I was giving advice and support instead of receiving it. When she found out she was going to have a baby, she went crazy. She was scared to tell Billy about her affair, even though she knew it was possible that the baby wasn't Billy's. She claimed she didn't know she was pregnant to avoid Billy's happiness. Because of what I said at the cookout, she told everyone about her pregnancy, even though she wasn't sure how she felt about it yet. It was clear to her that her anger toward me was mostly due to fear and guilt. Even though I didn't believe it, I tried to listen without judging. Samantha said she was afraid of losing Billy if he found out the truth, but she was also afraid of raising a child who might not be his by accident. We talked about what might happen if she made each choice and weighed her options for hours. I told her about a time when I helped her with a similar thing in college, telling her that we have always been there for each other, no matter what. As we talked, I could tell that Samantha was feeling the weight of this lie. Although she was only 32 years old, she looked older than she was because she had dark rings under her eyes and her hands were shaking all the time. I knew that Samantha had been carrying an even heavier load for the past week, while I had been hurt and alone. It came up that she might not tell Billy, but we both knew that wasn't likely to happen. She would finally give in to her guilt, and there was still a chance that the truth would come out at some point. What would happen would be much worse. Samantha finally decided that she had to be honest with Billy no matter what. She asked if I would be there for her emotional support when she did it. I was surprised when she asked me to be there because, even though we had fought in the past, I didn't think she would want me to be there for something so personal and possibly life-changing. Of course, I agreed. I love her no matter what because she's my sister. Are you sure we're going to talk to Billy this weekend? The thought of it makes my stomach turn with worry. I'm sure that's the right thing to do, though. The rest of the family will not know about this for now, following our choice. I'll take Samantha's apology for how they treated me, and Samantha will say sorry to them for getting too angry about what I said. It's not the best answer, but it seems like the smartest thing to do given Samantha's worries about not telling her family all of her personal details. She left after a long hug with me. It made us remember how we used to help each other through bad dreams and hard days at school when we were kids. I felt like we were back on the same team, without any competition or anger. It had been a long time since I had felt that way. The whole thing has been a sobering lesson that you can't know what else is going on in someone else's life. Speaking out of turn has become more important to me. But I've also learned how important it is to not jump to conclusions or judge things before I have all the facts. It makes me happy that Samantha felt safe enough to tell me the truth, even though I can't wait to talk to Billy. I'll always be there for my sister. This is how we've always looked out for each other, even though we forget that sometimes. As I wait for the weekend to come, I can't help but think about how quickly things could change. It was my biggest worry a week ago whether I should get a fourth cat. I'm about to help my sister have what might be the worst conversation of her life. I don't know what's going to happen to Samantha, Billy, and their future child. I don't think this family fight will ever go away for good. I'm sure, though, that I will do everything I can to help my sister, just like she always does for me.